Blob was a sleeper hit on Wii back in 2008. It featured pure, charming platforming fun with an emphasis on color and sound. Now, landing on Xbox 360 and PS3 as well as Wii, Blob 2 isn't a radically different experience, really. You still play the heroic Blob fending off nefarious Comrade Black, leader of the Inked Corporation. These guys are hell-bent on draining all the color out of Prisma City, and they're doing a pretty good job so far. This is where you come into play. Blob 2 is visually captivating and bursting with warped humor. Between levels, gorgeous CG animations flesh out each location. Given that color plays a critical part of the gameplay, it comes as no surprise that Blob's world looks like somebody spilled a crate of Skittles and M&Ms all over the place. As you roll and leapfrog around each stage, all kinds of trippy textures begin to seep into the world. The more you color, the more funky jazz music begins to fade in too, and the soundtrack is a seriously upbeat toe tapper. It's also 3D TV compatible, and if you have the hardware, you're in for an extra treat. Wii owners do get the short end of the stick when it comes to presentation. It looks decent for a Wii game, and the simplicity of the colors and shapes work well for the console. But the extra bump in resolution really makes a difference on PS3 and 360. It's hard to go back. Blob can, with the help of his sponge-like body, soak up paint and literally recolor every surface in his path. As you color each area, new objectives and waypoints are unlocked. Eventually, you can open up whole new areas and the world transforms around you. Learning to blend colors is the key though. You start with just primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and by mixing these colors together, you can create green, orange, purple, and brown. Later levels, like the soda manufacturing plant, give great purpose to the color blends, creating new flavors of cola, for example. The real challenge rests with scaling the environment and painting the right surfaces in the right order. There's a time limit too, usually around 15 minutes per stage. That doesn't sound like a lot, but as you take out inky enemies, you unlock more time. Suddenly, the levels really do start to take a fair while to complete. Honestly, the time limit seems kind of unnecessary. You have lives, continues, and you can restart the stages from your last checkpoint. The added threat of a countdown timer really doesn't add a lot of challenge to things. Blob 2 also introduces some really entertaining 2D stages. These are set inside buildings and underground chambers and make for some of the most creative moments in the game. When the latter levels start mixing in gravity, manipulation, and all kinds of color-related puzzles, Blob 2 is at its best. At its worst, Blob 2 is guilty of holding your hand too much. You can't go 2 minutes without a message popping up on the screen telling you what to do next. For younger players, this might be handy. For everyone else, it takes the fun of experimenting and learning out of the mix. It also becomes a little repetitive. While painting surfaces and pounding enemies is fun, it does start to wear thin after a while. In true platformer style, you also do a lot of collecting. Color atoms, armor, inspiration points, new texture styles, unlockable art, extra lives, and a whole bunch of power-ups. The list goes on. If you stick to the main mission in each world, you'll only collect a handful of each. The good news is, at the end of the stage, the time limit finally disappears and you're free to explore. All up, this is a fresh and fun platformer with great level design later into the game, and some kid-friendly co-op modes too. It definitely aims at a younger audience, and it does tend to hold your hand a little too much. That said, if you thrash Mario and need another clever and enjoyable platformer, Blob 2 is a great option. For more on his blobbiness, head to IGN.com.